Alright. Is this already super live or? I wanted to explain the rules, but I guess we just drive this round here. I mean, everyone had enough warm-up, of course. We don't need warm-up. But yeah, we do play rounds against each other. Rounds mode. And you don't gain points with your position, you lose points. Everyone starts with 400 points, and the first place doesn't lose points, everyone else does lose points. Okay, has we started? Yeah, now we got a warm-up. Okay, so yeah, explaining the rules again. So everyone starts with 400 points. Instead of getting points in this competition, you lose points. So basically, first place in the round does not lose any points, but the others do. The further you are behind, the more points you lose. If you end up at 0 points, you are knocked out of the cup. The less players there are, the more points the second place and the third place and so on will lose. So it is also some kind of knockout, because in the end, being second loses you already 100 points. Now in the beginning, however, it is not as much. Like in the beginning, the first rounds do not really matter if you get second, third. It's just a few points. They are not that important. But the less players we are, the more the rounds get important to do well. And you will end up in a 1v1 scenario in the end. And in that 1v1 scenario, it is all about, like even if you won every single round before, because then in the 1v1 scenario you lose 100 points by getting second, you will not have many rounds free against your opponent who maybe is close to 0. So the big important rounds are towards the end. But you can of course get an advantage until you reach that point. Yeah, and I was playing one time this cup. It was on a long map, 6 minutes or something long. And the grand final was exactly at the start of the cup of the day at 19 o'clock. Today we have more players than then, I think. And we started now 30 minutes late with the cup. 30 minutes late. But the map is much shorter. Only 3 minutes. So the rounds are theoretically quicker. But I have doubt that we will be finished within an hour here, to be honest. Which is shit, because of course I want to play Cup of the Day. So it seems to be like a 1v1 between me and Sizer, maybe, but we will see. we start now. So here you don't want to gear up before the corner, because then you get into trouble. The most important thing is that you keep speed here, that you don't make a mistake, because you definitely want to do this jump, which I don't know if it's a cut or if it's intended. It is so smooth that it could be intended, but probably it is a cut. The other line that I saw from checkpoint 5 to 6 is so incredibly slow, you really don't want to drive that. Ah, finally. I was a bit confused why I was in first place the whole round, like already the first checkpoints, because they were not really that fast. So I was really not sure what's happening there. So, another very annoying section, this with the water, also not consistent. So now, go here. And you wanna gear up before you come to these jumps. That's the most important thing about this. Ah, he finished right ahead. So you see in this first round, everyone that is not finishing in time, will lose 120 points. And you see the second place only loses 5 points. That's nothing. Later, when only 2 players are remaining, second place loses 100. What you can hope when you dominate, what you can hope is that you, GG to Alliance by the way, what you can hope is that you knock out multiple people at once and then you are the only one left. Ah no, they are now at match point. This is what you can hope for. Knocking out multiple people. Yeah, knocking out multiple people at the same time. That's what you can hope for. So there's quite a huge finish timeout, all playing against the fact that we can reach the cup of the day. What is good, however, there are not that many finishers. Dantafas will not make it, for example. So we have 8 finisher or something. Now 9 finisher. And everyone else loses 120 from the 400 points. So every player that is not even participating is already down, but it will take a while until they are really knocked out. Until then, there are not big point differences from first to second to third place. In that moment, when every DNFer or non-player or non-finisher left the server, in that moment we will have much more important rounds for the top places, because then you can actually lose points, like a lot of points. Then one bad round is much worse than when you get now 4 bad rounds in a row. Of course, a bit annoying that it starts them with all these DNF players basically that didn't even know that a cup is happening now. They were just playing this map, having fun on the server. Now there's a cup. They don't want to play, but the system counts them as players for the moment. It's not optimal, I guess. These first rounds are also my possibility to attack my own world record, because the risk is not that huge of failing, like what it would cost you. I want to gear up before the jumps. It came right before. Is it? It will be close. With my PB. Oh, I miss it. So close, man. Azuno actually close to me. It was only because the penalty in the end cost me a lot of speed. That was the only reason why I didn't get a new world record. Like, you have this huge jump, and the landing has to be as shit as possible without losing speed. If it's really shit, then you don't get much slowdown from the penalty. That's what you basically want. Hello, Fette Kiwi. Yeah, maybe you can go inside as what he did. I don't know what's the faster line. Does he not want to finish? I think if we respawn now. Alright, we have only a few finisher, so maybe we have a chance for Cup of the Day. Many people are already down to 160 points. my record is in danger from Sizer. Lost a little bit of time. He won a bit of time. Yeah, he is doing the record if he gets the end. And it's a great time that he tries. So you see, now I lost 6 points instead of 5. Ui. Overall, however, I'm still leading. Because Sizer lost very more points till now. We have Black Pulse and Asuno finishing. Of course, what we have to say about this map. The map is relatively naja, tight. It is a FullSpeed RPG map. You can't really create many gaps here. And because you can't do that, it is obviously then pretty close between the players. So we have a few more finishers here. 7. And Sensei is finishing as well. Makes it 8. And then we should have Fasty, 257 points, who should also finish. Yeah, at the moment he makes still the minus 120, that would bring him much down in points. If he doesn't finish, the whole cup goes a bit quicker. And that's good. 389. So that's maybe the last safe option to get the record back. So I will risk it a bit for the world record. Woo! Survived, and it was fast. But now my nemesis. Okay. Oh, that was a late jump out of the water again. Has potential to beat Sizer's time. Oh my god, that's close. I think it's not enough because I had a bad penalty again. Ah! So from now on it is risky to go for super fast times. Actually you have to do something with a plugin with a server when new players join the server that they know what's going on here. Because they think it's a normal server where people can drive the map and then they can't drive and they wonder why. And so Yok is doing the finish this time. And we will have a lot of knockouts now. And from the next round on, there will be... From the next round on, there will be way more minus points. This is it. Not? Oh, I thought I have it. I thought that's fast enough for the record now. Zaitzer wasn't in second. He could lose a bit on me. Oh, Yok is much further this time. Sides are losing a lot of points now. I was so sure that this was fast enough now. Crazy. But yeah, you see, second place is already minus 12 now, which was only minus 5, minus 6 before. And so it continues with the other positions. So we see 7 finishers again, but for Fasty it is definitely over. The others will still survive around. They will still survive, but they are also losing a lot. Like Dopri, for example, if he has another round like this, he will be knocked out then as well. Of course, now it's a bit slower. It will take a while. Because many players are still far away from the elimination zone. Ah, no. Ah. Okay, I have Asuno ahead of me. If he has a clean race, I will not catch him. At least he showed already that he has decent enough pace. As I said, on this map there is not really much where you could catch up. Yeah, small tricks like the snow slide, for example. And then how tight you jump these jumps. But he has such a huge lead that I could only take profit from him making a mistake at this point. Nevertheless, I'm actually close to him. I could have overtaken him by now already. Huh. Then he lost a lot. And this last bit you decide, he gained again. And I get this way too smooth every time now. I'm getting this, like, you wanna have a bit of a side wobble. Like a small bit of barrel rolling, but of course not much. But so that the pen, like right now, I'm so straight jumping and landing that my that all my wheels, or both front wheels, both back wheels, something has full contact on the penalty. If you wobble a bit sideways, then only one side, for example, touches it. Dobry actually stays in with only minus 28. Gets the third place here, well needed for him. And now we wait for the other finishers. Black Pulse is also finishing with minus 42 points. And then comes Zaitzer right in front of Edis and Sensei all. Edis is the closest so far to me. Will get overtaken by Zaitzer because of this one position which makes 14 points difference. And now everyone has finished. Well, they both get overtaken, of course, by Asuno, who is now far in front of them. Okay. But yeah, this format is interesting because it combines some kind of knockout with rounds mode and also with cup mode, because in the end, similar to knockout of course, but in the end you need to definitely win one round to knock them out at the very end. Ugh. Oh, I have to respawn this. This jump was... shit. I realized quickly, but I lose 2 positions here. It's a bit annoying. Yeah, I don't know. The car just jumped to the right. And the mountains are sticking a bit in. But sides are also crashed it. Or crashed something at least. Oh my god. He got overtaken by 2 players. Makes way more minus points. So at the moment Asuno is my main opponent actually. And yeah, Blackpool's is overtaking Sideser. Also Edis. The other 3 players. Ah yeah, Sensei All is so far behind. Wow. Also he might still be able to finish. If he finishes, he could stay in unless the other 2 finish ahead of him. But the other 2 both left the server. They both left the server. So it's only about Sensei finishing or not finishing. If he finishes, he will stay in. For that one more round at least. How was he so far behind? Yeah. Oh, he fucked it up. And with that he's also out. And that means that we by now already are only 5 players. And that means that the minus points from now on will be huge. So you don't want to get second or third. That is already shit, points-wise. Ugh. I'm surprised at him first, because it's not a good start. Wow. Man, that's annoying. Why? Why? Yeah, and by that moment I dropped from first to last. Amazing. What was now my mistake? I don't know it. I didn't get enough speed for some reason. And this costs me 1012 points. Ach man. Exactly in the first important round. And I had everything under control, I was leading it. And they were so far behind. 24 seconds behind me, and now they will finish in front. Amazing stuff. I get minus 100. Amazing. Minus 100 and I'm back with the other players. I'm still leading actually, but naja. The first mistake exactly in the first round where it matters. And that's what I told you earlier. The first rounds, they do not matter. You don't really create gaps there. But in that moment when multiple players are not on the server playing anymore, then it matters. Then it starts to be important. Hence, this was the worst possible moment for me to get that issue. Also after surviving the water section, I feel relatively safe on the map, to be honest. This jump there, however, is a little bit dangerous as well. But the way it turned out, that I didn't make it and then landed on the roof, had to respawn. Then of course pulling a granati. Otherwise I would have been third, it would have been already much better than what I got now. Oh my god, that gear took so long to come. I almost didn't make this end. It would have been so unfortunate. The penalty slowing me down a bit more than it should. Good thing is that the second place, Azuno, is losing now the most amount of points. Like he is losing 100. Makes my gap, and the third place loses the third most points. So my gap is getting again bigger after that bad round that I had. But yeah, not making this ending jump, that can very easily happen if you don't gear up before the first jump. And Azul, for example, also landed maybe a tiny bit too good. Ah, he got a gear up though. Yeah, for me, this I realized that immediately. I landed and I heard, shit, this is slow. So I went very outside in this flat corner there, or little bit bank corner actually, but on the tarmac corner. To give my cart a possibility to gain enough speed to gear up before the jump. Okay, so now, next round. So I told you earlier, when there are only 2 players left, then the second place will lose 100 points. That's basically always the case. The last finishing player, when all players finish, gets minus 100. That means that if you lead to the other players, let me focus for this part here. And a very slow start, however still second with that. Surprised that they are on the start a bit slower. Usually people are always good at the start, you know, when they hunt the map a lot. So now the water path. So if you end up in a 1-1 situation, 1 versus 1, which of course can easily happen in this format, then second place loses 100 points. That means that if you come into that 1v1 situation and you have 90 points advantage to the other player, all these 90 points, they don't help you at all. Because he can knock you out with 1 round. So if you are within a 100 points range, it is the same as if you would be 90 points behind him. Yeah, there is not really a difference. It is then a one deciding round in the end. And that is the reason why this minus 100 points was quite a little bit unfortunate. Because it brought me much closer to the others and brought me to a deciding 1v1 in the end. That can actually happen. Of course, it doesn't have to happen that we end up with a 1v1. It can be a top 3 round where both opponents get knocked out. But yeah, what does it mean for me? It would be good for me. Oh, I won! Wow, he crashed the end. It would be good for me if I stay over 200. If I come into a 1v1 scenario in the end, and I have still over 200 points, then I can lose twice against the other player in a 1v1, and I will still be alive. So I have basically 3 lives then. Interestingly, you can say, what if you keep all your points from the beginning? It would have been maybe better if we would start with 401 points and not 400, yeah? Because even if you have full 400, you would only be able to lose to 300, 200, 100 and then 0, so you would have 4 lives basically against the other player. And that even though you won everything so far, the other player didn't. Well, we have now Blackpool still alive, but they are all in danger now, and I have a good lead. But every one of them is out if he gets last place. But they will not be all out at the same round here. But maybe 2 at the same time, and then in the next round also 2. But I have to win, and that's to knock then the last players out. I definitely have to win. It's not possible without winning, because if I don't win, then someone from them will not lose points. For me, this is like the best scenario if multiple players get knocked out at the same time. If we have now still... the fact that we still have 5 players alive makes it also not possible for me to lose too many points, maybe. With a 2nd or 3rd place, yeah. Because we are still 5. And then they get all knocked out at once. That's, of course, the optimum. It'd be also crazy if, naja, only one of them gets knocked out. Because then the other 3 should be all in big danger. I have 2.6 seconds, I only have to make the end. I have to go outside. Yeah, it's enough. It's very, very weird, this ending. And we have Saitso in 2nd place if he finishes it into the finish, and he does. Okay. That means that the others are in big danger, because he only makes the minus 25. The next guy makes minus, what was it? 40? 50? Oh wow. Okay, so Azuno also stays live. And the other 2 are knocked out of the cup. Now we are top 3. I think in the top 3 scenario, 2nd place loses 50 points and 3rd place loses 100 points. So I can lose 50 points and I'm still over 200. Yeah, so that would be actually not bad. But at this point, looks good. But I have to win rounds. Also, I have to win at least one more round in the correct moment. Not that great, but somehow one of them is behind me. At least I was able to save that. It would be nice to overtake him, but I absolutely don't need to take any risk. Because for me, it does not change anything. The only way that would change everything is if he crashes. If he gets last and I get first, then this is the last round. But that seems to not happen. So this jump there is just not smooth at all anymore. So if he finishes it, he should come now, yep, with a very good time. And I only lose 50, which means that Asuno is out. And I stay over the 200 mark, and that's the important thing. And now it's a 1v1. And I have 3 opportunities. I don't see him in the CP. Looks as if I only have to bring it home. Making this jump, which was the reason for my only shit round. Jumping extra far left to make this safe. Okay, that was shit. I have no idea if you can make the jump, but I guess you will have enough speed. Okay. That should be good enough. Yes, okay. There we see him 16 seconds behind. GG. But yeah, there's always the possibility, no matter how shit your cup is, if you end up in a 1v1 scenario, you just have to beat your opponent a few times and then you won. You can have many bad rounds, you only need very few good rounds in the end. And that makes it always exciting. I cannot feel safe. Like if he drives now a good time into the finish and beats me closely, and I get knocked out, I lose 100 points, I mean, and it's only 2 more rounds that he needs to win, then maybe in the next round something happens to me, I make a mistake, and he wins again with a shit time, and suddenly it's a last chance, no? And he has the momentum. Something like this can always easily happen. I don't know if in the warm-up he would get a local. No. Of course I would have liked to get a record, but well, the penalty in the end didn't want me to.